Hey, everybody, it's your girl, PJamma, with PJamma Life. And today we have our buddy David with us today, the king of all things Star Wars. And we may have our buddy Pat, our guru of Marvel, but we'll see if he's going to pop in possibly later on. If not, we'll see him next week. So, David, why don't you say hey to the people?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this post-4th of July midsummer evenings episode talking about your favorite things in the sci-fi world. Thanks for joining us today. I think I might have a special guest, my cat Gracie, on the table with me. She might be popping in here and there as we go. One never knows.
You know, these cats pop in whenever they feel like it.
That's right. That's what it is to be a cat.
Well, we got a full roster today.
Yeah.
We have Bad Batch, Loki, Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar, and the Don Cheadle flick, Steven Soderbergh, No Sudden Move. And so why don't we get started with Bad Batch?
Who's chasing you? Are you in some kind of trouble?
I thought you were in trouble. Isn't that why we're here?
But when our losses mounted and the enemy closed in, the clone army came to our aid.
Did you see how the crowd reacted to him? His influence over them is a problem. Syndulla's fighters will always be loyal to him. They all must be dealt with.
We each have our parts to play, Senator. Be sure to see this through.
My dream was for a free Ryloth. For our people to happily live in a world of peace. We have that now.
The people don't seem very happy.
For years, I've watched you put your greed and self-interests above Ryloth. You are the one guilty of treason.
Do something!
He's the one holding the blaster.
Oh man, this one. Now, I'm going to let you talk about this one a lot, David, because I felt like this one had the least connection to the Bad Batch and maybe more on the wider Star Wars universe. So hook us up with what's up in this episode.
Well, this is a really interesting episode. It's a lot of fun, but it's a really interesting episode from a storytelling perspective. You have a show, you think it's about, the main cast, the Bad Batch and Omega and their story and their survival. And yet in this episode, I think in a 25 or 28 minute episode, they were in it for like 3 minutes. That was it. I mean, it was almost like one of those episodes you might even remember seeing, like where there'll be like a spin-off show that comes off of a popular show where the leads won't be in it for very long. Like when, you had Simon and Simon and Murder, She Wrote were on Magnum and different things. So it was very
Listen, the kids might not know those shows. You got to come.
If you don't, hey, let me tell you something. We'll talk about
goodness,
the nightmare hell. We will talk, hey folks, we will talk about the nightmare hell of the most dangerous city in America, fictional city in America, Cabot Cove, Maine, another time. You think about that. Seriously, is there any place more dangerous than in that sweet little hamlet than Cabot Cove, Maine? Per capita, it's a lot tougher than Chicago or DC or Louisville. Anyway, this was a fascinating episode. I thought it was it was the Clone Wars. You would maybe go off and you'd watch Mace Windu, or you'd have a Padme episode, an R2 or 3PO.
Right.
Here we had really the origin story of one of the protagonists from Rebels, Hera Syndulla, and how she had started in her career with the rebellion.
Okay.
And of course, she was on the wonderful comic Rebels that also Dave Filoni gonna give a little homage to Pat, because he used that phrase Filoniverse, and it was in full effect in this episode. I thought it was great. We always, if you ever wondered what was going to happen with Senator Orn Frey Tata, as one might call him, He bit the big one of the more corpulent of all of these Star Wars action figures out there. But man, it was this was a good episode. I thought it was a very bold storytelling because they didn't focus on the Bad Batch. And it shows under whatever name this is Star Wars animated universe. And it's the Filoni-verse. We could go any direction. One negative, the very first episode you saw where the Bad Batch had a connection with Kanan, who was also part of the Rebels. The eventual love interest of Hera, saw him as a Padawan. Now we see them with Hera. It's a big universe. You could have had anybody play this role. The Bad Batch. I mean, we could have had Hondo could have done it. We could have had Lando do it. We could have somebody brand new create somebody else. That was my only little criticism here is the Bad Batch is kind of connecting themselves. It's almost like Forrest Gump and all the movie scenes, those historical scenes where he's with different presidents and everything.
Right.
I like a bigger universe in my Star Wars meal, but fun episode. Love where you see things going with Crosshair, a little bit more Crosshair there, and also some issues with some of the clones. I think some of the clone officer kind of winced in all of this. It's like, he saw what was going down and he questioned that. He'd fought with the Twi'leks when they were fighting on the side of the Republic.
Right.
So this was a fun episode, but it also says and if you're watching the Bad Batch, if you want to know the context, you got to hurry up and watch all those other shows.
Yeah. And believe me, it's tough to get through 7, 8 episodes of Clone Wars. I'm kind of stuck on the 4th season. I haven't even got to Rebels.
Right.
And, some of the other ones. So, man, and it's already July. So it might have to just, and there's, this series will conclude in August. So we won't have very many more. If you think about it, maybe 6, maybe 8 episodes left. So, but good episode, lots of action, lots of interesting by the what is his name? The Republic. Rampart? Yeah, Rampart, who I think is going to be the major baddie of the series. And so it'll be good to see where they go with his character. But good show. Kind of deep in the Star Wars lore, so that I didn't quite know what I was watching. But even if you hadn't seen it, it still was great television. So
let me ask you real quick on that. I know we've got a lot on the agenda. What did you think of the interaction between Hera, and you might not know her as well as some of the others, but what did you think about Hera and Omega, the conversation they had on the ship?
I thought that was cute. It was kind of like a preteen conversation they would have, and both of them trying to, one is fascinated by, is she a pilot in the Rebels series?
She is.
Okay. So her, like plane crazy kind of reminds me of girls who are horse crazy, and
it's a good comparison. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like, oh, what is this? What's this? Oh, what's that? And Omega, I think she's just happy to see another kid her age. And so, she engages. And so I thought that was kind of a age appropriate kind of interaction between the two of them, which, sometimes you don't see a lot of. Sometimes you see a lot of conflict between kids. But it was nice to see, 2 girls kind of being tweens and talking about the stuff that they like. So good. I like that.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a different episode.
Yeah.
Another really fun one. I hate the thought of it ending in August. What are we going to do in the fall? I'm missing it already.
Yeah. And then we'll have to wait. I don't know, maybe a year. I don't know. Who knows what the pandemic did. Right. So we'll see. But it was a beautiful looking episode as well. So definitely check out this week's Bad Batch. But if you miss it,
you can come right back. That's the best part of the streaming world.
You can catch it later. You know what I mean? You won't miss the through story. Okay. So next we are going to talk about the penultimate. For those of you who do word of the day, the penultimate episode of Loki. And so why don't we show a sample of what happened this week? Chock full.
And what if I said Loki wasn't dead? Not yet, anyway.
I'd say you were lying.
Maybe. Or maybe we want the same thing.
All I know is I got pruned, and I woke up here, and now I'm surrounded by variants of myself, plus an alligator, which I'm heartbroken to report I didn't even find all that strange.
Well, at least my Nexus event wasn't eating the wrong neighbor's cat.
Why the hell is there an alligator in here?
He's a Loki!
How do we get past the guard dog?
I'm going to enchant it.
That's insane, right?
As insane as what? Paper cutting a giant cloud to death.
Listen, I've been down here a bit longer than you. I know
I'm
a thing or
going
two.
to enchant it.
She's pretty confident.
Ah, hello. Which one of us are you?
I can dress up too. It's Loki Gator. Rah.
Awesome. I wondered where you went. I saw you were off camera.
Loki Gator in the house.
Chomp, chomp,
That
chomp.
was the funniest episode, and so jam-packed with stuff, but just so hilarious with all of the Loki variants and all of the action going on surrounding the different Loki. So now you know there were what, about 10 Loki?
At least there were a lot of them. I can't keep up with this multiverse, man. That is
yes.
intense.
And so the action surrounds Loki going into the void, which in the comics was an actual entity. The void was an actual entity that did destroy worlds and did a lot of stuff. But if you notice, now here's a couple of things that I noticed. So if you looked on the floor of the TVA, you know, it had the design of the hourglass, right? But if you look closely at it, it also had a face that I think resembles Kang the Conqueror. So I think that's the hint. If go back and look at it, I think that's the hint in there. And still this week, we also got more. What episode? What show? The Wizard of Oz. You got to see kind of the yellow brick road of the TVA lights, and then you kind of got look like, I was like, oh, classic Loki is building like Asgard. He built Asgard, but it also strongly reminded me of the Wizard of Oz in Oz. If you looked at it and then you go back and look at Oz, the way Oz looked like, it kind of reminded me of Oz and them fighting. You know, the minions kind of also was them fighting maybe like the witches, people and monkeys and all that
Flying
kind
monkeys.
of stuff. Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of super interesting and funny. And for all the kids of the 80s and 90s, did you notice what kid Loki was drinking when he was on the throne? He was drinking the Ecto Cooler, the high C Ecto Cooler, which is like it was super popular. I think it kind of came out with the Ghostbusters TV show or something. Okay. And the pinball machine was another throwback pinball machine that's legendary, I guess. And if you look at the image of it first coming down, and you saw the dirt and you saw things in the dirt, there was a frog Thor. Remember the story of Loki saying he turned Thor into a frog? Well, in a jar in the ground was this frog trying to fight out of the jar, and it was Frog Thor. It was wild, this episode. And it was great to see Mobius survive, and as well him and Loki having a special moment. And so it's going to be interesting to see what he does when he goes back to the TVA, and how he is going to burn it down. Is he going to burn it down literally? I wonder. Or is he just going to inform people about what's really going on with breaking out B-15? So I'm just really, I was waiting for an action-packed kind of episode like this one, and it had something for everybody in this episode. What do you think?
Well, including an homage to Captain Hook.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the gator or the crocodile taking
Alligator
the hand.
Loki was the star of the show.
It was awesome. If the only criticism I think I'd have for the last couple of episodes is it went so fast. It kind of like was tying
and
up.
It was one of the longer episodes.
It was, but it's not long enough. I mean, it goes by so quick. The Loki variants were fantastic. I loved all of those. How creative this was, but I didn't want it to end. And I kind of felt like there was things, even though it was, you're mesmerized throughout. It's like, I wanted this to be a few more. I didn't even want to tell myself this was the last episode, because it's like, there's got to be more. I can't wait for the next season to find out what happens. Do they shut down the Tennessee Valley Authority? What happens to that little round animated ball of Southern deceit? I don't know, but I really want to know. Yeah, this was good. This was good.
I think, David, this is the next to the last episode.
Okay.
I think there's one more next week.
Oh, good.
And that's why I said it's the penultimate, because it's the next to the last. But you got to get out your dictionary when you're on PJamma Life.
But this was great. I enjoyed it. And I love Sylvie. I think she is really fantastic. I didn't know what to think about the female Loki and how they kind of play off of each other. But then you put them in there with all these other Lokis, Kid Loki, Gator Loki. I mean, I don't know if that was supposed to be the Riddler Loki with his green outfit or something from St. Patrick's Day, or he lost his hand.
No, that's original Loki. That's like classic Loki.
Was that classic? Well, I thought the one with the horns was the classic Loki.
Oh, you mean President Loki, the one with Vote Loki?
Oh, yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's President Loki. So there's like another series too, with him becoming president, and then what he does, of course, terrible as President Loki. So, but it looked like there was a samurai Loki, and there was I want to say Norwegian, like Viking Loki. And then there was even reference to, there was a pirate Loki. So when you saw that old ship, that was like the ship of pirate Loki.
Right.
It was just a lot for the super fans out there. But there was also another, now the end. Now, I'm curious because like in Wizard of Oz, they get to finally go see who is the big baddie. Now, I'm curious as to the castle that was shown. Is it Castle Doom? So then they bring in the Fantastic Four, or is it the lair of Kang the Conqueror? So I think that's what I want to see, if they're really going to bring in, because remember last season with WandaVision, we kept thinking it was Mephisto or somebody else, and then it turned out, nope, it was it was Agatha all along.
That's right.
So I'm hoping that it ties in, but we definitely, again, with, I think, President Loki and Kid Loki, we definitely have the tie-in to the animated series coming up, What If, by the Marvel team. And they're saying this is the first animated series of Marvel. But I was like, no. Larry Houston and X-Men, the animated series, was the actual first recognized Marvel TV show. But okay. But the new universe, that one then will start in August, I believe.
Okay.
So I think we're going to pick up with the What If series in August.
Gotcha.
So I think they've done an incredible job of laying the foundation for that series within this series. And also, if they're going to go with Kang the Conqueror, then you would have him in the Ant-Man and the Wasp movies, and in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So we could see that character in several different Marvel movies coming up in the future. And this, I think, late this year, Doctor Strange, or maybe early next year.
Is it December? I think it's like a Christmas. It's a December.
I think so. They usually try to release something like one in the summer and one in the Christmas time or something. Right. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, I could talk about this episode forever, but do you have anything else to say about this one?
I love you in your jammies, your PJamma Life jammies of your gator outfit. I just find you absolutely adorable. I cannot lie.
I'm gonna bite somebody like alligator Loki was going around biting everybody.
It's awesome.
But and before we leave, but the funny interaction between classic Loki, Kid Loki, and Mobius when they were talking about alligator Loki, that, how do you know he's a Loki? Well, he said he was, but wouldn't that be just like a Loki not to be a Loki? I mean, that to me was just another hilarious, super funny insider joke about the Marvel universe. So, it's man, awesome. I had my doubts about this series, but this episode, okay, changed it and turned it around for me. So good job, Marvel.
They've done, every one of these shows that Marvel has done, they've all been good, and they've all been different. You can compare and contrast them, but they really all stand alone for this, this woven together tapestry. Each one is different. And Loki, it's the originality of it. Every one of these has been original. I mean, every one of them stands out. Probably the most traditional one is, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And it was fantastic too. And it probably had a more deeper, meta message for, America today than the other shows. But all three have just been really well done, superbly put together, great acting. And you just bring your popcorn and you're just ready to go every week, because you can't wait until it drops every week.
Yeah.
That's
and next week, I don't even want it to, I kind of want to wait because I don't want to watch it, but I got to watch it because I don't want to be spoiled.
Right.
On it for next week. But that's it. That'll be it for next week. But we'll have some good stuff to talk about, I'm sure. So looking forward to next week. So to go from the high of Loki to the depths of the low with Barb and Star, why don't we show something about Barb and Star Go to Vista Del Mar.
Girls, I might just pack up and move there.
What? Where
I
to
feel
go?
like I got a soul douche.
A soul douche. Well.
You girls have got to go.
Well.
Not
this.
yeah, no.
Oh, thank you.
Well,
I mean,
it won't be necessary.
I mean, yeah, but it'd be nice to just see what it looks like. But what's the name of the place again?
Vista Del Mar.
Welcome to Palm Vista, a Floridian paradise. All your dreams come true here.
Every drink is served with ice. Hey, what's this drink with the skull and crossbones over it? Can we get one of those? Oh.
You finished that already?
Yeah.
Just for the record, we never find the treasure.
You found a little chest at the bottom with the syrupy liquid.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We licked up all the syrup.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And you opened the scuba diver's mask and found the 3 pills?
I took a pill.
I had one.
a pill.
Oh, well, that's your treasure.
Are you even supposed to be working today?
Oh, I always come in when Barb works and she does the same. Don't worry, you're not paying us double. Wait, I thought you were working today. No, I thought you were the one working. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Well, that is not, it's not the
This
first
is not
time.
the first time this has happened.
Sometimes neither one of us is on the schedule. We both come in.
Come in.
This has got to be a quick review.
Well, a quick review. I had to be called off the ledge from this one. I kid you not. I went up to the 17th floor and contemplated everything after seeing this film. This is bad. This is Mortal Kombat bad.
No, this was better. This was worse. Way worse than Mortal Kombat on an infinite quantum mania level. This is the worst movie of the year by far. This is the worst.
You know, it's up there with in terms of like how bad this is for anything that's Saturday Night Live related. There was the movie. There was a mid 1990s character. Who's that? It's Pat. Pat actually had a movie.
Yeah.
Globally now. Think about this dollar amount. It made $600,000. $600,000 worldwide. I'm talking movie purchases and rentals too. 600,000. This is and this movie really just kind of scrapes that bottom of the barrel right with it.
Oh man, and Kristen Wiig is amazing, and so she's kind of been in 2 bombs. I mean, well, Wonder Woman 2 was not quite a bomb, but it was not great, and so now she's done a second character where it's not great, and so I'm like, this. I mean, it couldn't decide was it going to be like happy fun, but then it had some very R-rated stuff in there and drug use and wild sex and blowing up people and kids getting eaten and
oh no, that was funny.
I mean, it was.
The kids getting funny was good. I mean, come on.
But it kind of markets
neither one of us are like
as
people parents. We could say that.
Yeah, but it kind of markets itself as a fun family kind of movie, kind of. But then you watch it and you're like, oh no, this is a hard R. And believe me, I am no prude. But I wasn't like, it just wasn't funny.
Yeah.
And it was just weird, but not good weird. Because like Blades of Glory is weird. And Napoleon Dynamite is weird, but they're funny. They're like super funny where you laugh out loud. And I was just pissed. So I was like, what? But at least it was short. So it's only like an hour and 40 minutes maybe. And That's all it needed to be.
I'm loving the fact that we've got a Blades of Glory reference here tonight.
I love Blades of Glory.
We need to have like a Will Ferrell sports movie night because he made a lot of sports movies.
In time for the Olympics, we'll do something. The week before the Olympics or the Olympic night, we'll do something to commemorate all of the great Olympic movies, because that one is like one of the funniest.
It really is. Oh, man.
Yeah, so no, Barb and Star can go.
Well, what was Kristen Wiig's other bad movie that you're counting?
Huh? Say it again.
What's her other bad movie that you're counting? I can think of a couple. What was your thoughts of like one of her worst movies?
Dang. I didn't like her in Wonder Woman.
Okay.
1988.
Name some more. It added 4 more years of misery to you because it was 1984, 1988.
Oh yeah. Oh, yikes. But what are some other of her movies?
Well, Ghostbusters.
After several viewings, it's not great by any means.
After several viewings and after several sangrias, ...
I don't know why they messed that one up. I was like, you could have just gone with the straight story and it would have been hilarious with the people in it, but that was terrible.
It's a brilliant cast.
Yes.
That movie died on the first joke. You cannot, you know what? Irish jokes, Irish immigrant jokes, they didn't go over that well with the Irish were the immigrants. And that was the first joke in the show. And it's like, what? We make fun of people don't even remember that Irish were persecuted. You know, they've all blended in. We all love St. Patrick's Day. It's okay to use their accent. Top of the morning to you. You know, so that was such a bad movie.
And to have a great, the idea, phenomenal. Women doing Ghostbusters, top comedic talent, doing Ghostbusters.
Great performance.
It sounds great.
Yeah.
It was written terrible.
Yeah.
So it was just, but it was even better than this. This was just.
Yeah, this was bad. This was
This
bad.
was-
This
this
was
was
disturbing bad. I got you.
Ugh. Okay, let's move on because that was terrible. And so
Get that out of the taste. Get that palate cleansed.
Oh, yeah. Let me clean my mouth.
There we go.
Woo. Blah.
right.
So let's take a look at Steven Soderbergh's and Don Cheadle starring in No Sudden Move.
You can't come in here. What is he, white?
We're sending a man that works in an office to pick something up from that office and bring it back to his home. You are part of a babysitting team watching his family while he does it. 3 hours of work. For this, I'm offering you $2,000 now and 3 on the other end.
All we doing?
We're following instructions. Living room. Are you helping me or are you not helping me?
No.
Hey, think about it. They're gonna give us $5,000 for just 3 hours of babysitting.
$10,000 to turn you in. $15,000 for the white guy.
What? I'm talking 20 for you now, 25 for the white guy.
45 for just us.
That's what they told me.
This one's $50,000 for the whole thing.
50?
Wasn't no price.
Really? 90,000?
That's right.
90.
50-40. Okay, and you're gonna have the cash, right?
125, as arranged.
Yeah, 125, that's correct.
It's been a long day. And I won't have to put this over you so I can relax. You understand? Thank you.
Okay, so I actually ended up liking this. It's just not one of my favorite Steven Soderbergh movies.
Yeah.
But the ending twist, which I won't reveal, turned it around for me. So but it's a complicated like heist movie, and it's about this guy who all he wants is $5,000 so that he can save his, I believe they don't really make clear, but like his family's land. And so he goes up against some mobsters, and then he stumbles upon a bigger conspiracy concerning the automobile companies. And so when I first was watching it, I for some reason the actual thing, I won't spoil what it is, but the actual thing that they're fighting for, I said it like just like, oh, this is about that. And I was like, oh, and at the end I was like, oh, okay, it is about that. So it made me wonder if this was really based on something that happened in real life. Maybe not played out like this, but something must have happened because they had like a screen crawl at the end to describe what happened in real life with this movie. But Steven Soderbergh's movies are very quiet to me, but intense.
Yeah.
And I usually love the character, like sex, lies, and videotape, and side effects, and out of sight, and I love, and Oceans 11, and all those things, and they just have an intensity about them that I really enjoy. But one thing I didn't enjoy was that camera work, that whatever lens he used, that was, I don't know if it was a fisheye lens or something, but it was like rounded. And so it just kind of threw me off. And I was like, why the hell is he using this?
So I actually like that.
Did you? Okay.
I did. I thought it, because it stood out. It didn't bother me, but it's like, okay, they're really kind of putting us into this world in a different way. But I love period pieces, and I think we can say that time frame now, it is a period piece. Here we are in the 21st century. I was just listening to music from that era on the way to and from today, so I kind of lived there a bit. But I thought this was fun. Wonderful cast. To my recollection, there were at least 3 action figures represented in this movie. There might be more, but of course Don Cheadle has one as a War Machine in Marvel in multiple sizes.
Right.
Benicio del Toro has a few, but most notably from his role in Star Wars, The Last Jedi, and Brendan Fraser from The Mummy.
Now, which character was Brendan Fraser now? I'm confused.
He was in the front of the car. He was talking about offering money there in the previews. He just doesn't look like Brendan Fraser.
Oh my God. Wow. Now he's also, I'm glad he's getting work, because remember he had that whole Me Too kind of,
there was an
he was a
article about
victim.
that.
He wasn't a perpetrator. He was a victim. And it's good to see him getting work again, because I loved him in the 90s. He is just a great actor. Then he did that Gods and Monsters, I think, and that was a wonderful role for him. And then he just kind of like, they just jacked him over his career. So
I didn't see much of him. And then he was in, and I'm kicking myself right now. He played like a small role in this Epics TV series, kind of a military industrial complex kind of story. Oh,
rendition or
similar to that. It was a book, and then a movie with Robert Redford, and I cannot Condor.
Really? Condor was a TV show?
There was a movie. So there was a wonderful book.
Yeah.
And then it was turned into a movie with Robert Redford. And then I believe it's Epics that has a series. It's got 2 seasons. They just rebroadcast the first season. And Brendan Fraser is in that. He's not the lead. He's one of the villains in it.
Okay.
Man, that is such a good show. We'll have to talk about that sometimes. But he's fantastic in that, in a really kind of quirky, different role. He's gone from those leading man roles to some really nuanced characters. And he actually has his own figure because he had a cameo in G.I. Joe as well. So there's Mummy and G.I. Joe action with Brendan Fraser. Coming here to talk to you about all of your favorite action figure news, including the latest Patrick Stewart from Super 7, Jean-Luc Picard.
Wait, why does he have hair?
Oh, he doesn't have hair. He's wearing a do-rag.
Oh.
Make it sense. Oh, and wait, let's see. Before we lose time, let's see. Where's it? Oh, yes.
No.
Super 7. Now, Playmates did a great job with this action figure line. Maybe one of the best ever. But I'm excited in the 3 3/4, along with Patrick Stewart. If you want to play some other games, or speaking of the color purple, we've got Whoopi Goldberg right here.
Oh, Lord.
Did they do purple just because of the book? Did they do that because of the book and the movie, The Color Purple?
Oh,
Leonard
no.
Hamilton, have you found your copy of the book yet, man? I love you. Leonard.
That's hilarious. But Brendan Fraser is also in Doom Patrol, which is, that DC kind of mutants kind of TV series they had. I think it's had two seasons, and I've just started it. It's super interesting. So it's definitely, he's kind of like a Frankenstein character. So you don't really see him because he's got this he was a race car driver, very vain, very cheating on his wife, mistreating everybody, and gets into an accident, and all that's saved is his brain. So a guy puts his brain in this mechanical robot's body. That's very Frankenstein kind of thing. Doom Patrol is like wild. So it's not like your good kind of, it's more like Suicide Squad, because I think it's done by the same director maybe, or writer of Suicide Squad, the original. So it's very dark. So it's weird. And Alan Tudyk, he's in a lot of stuff, and Timothy Dalton is in it, and they have Cyborg. Not the one who was in the movie, but another young man is Cyborg, and his father is played by Phil Morris. So if you're talking about 80s and 90s, kind of character actors, he was in everything.
Okay.
So definitely check that out if you want something to binge. It's a little dark, so you might, hold on. And this movie deals with, I was really surprised, Matt Damon makes a character in No Sudden Moon. And his speech about the white aristocracy of the time, I was like, ooh, Matt Damon, I don't like you. I don't want to see you in this kind of role because you're very unpleasant. And I couldn't figure out, John Hamm is also in this movie. This movie is chock full of Oscar nominees, Oscar winners, Golden Globe people. It's just, the cast is just insane. And the great Bill Duke is in this. This may have been one of his last roles. I think he passed away. But he's fantastic in it. So definitely, I don't, what did you think? Would you recommend this one, David?
Oh, I would. Yeah. I think a period piece like this is really good. Such good actors. I think there's a lot to be said for this flick.
Yeah.
Really
and
is.
I think with lesser actors, it would have been a train wreck, right? Because
I think you're right. You're right.
It is, you have to really pay attention because there's several different plots going on. Yeah. And if you don't have as talented a cast as this one, it could have easily gone left real soon. So definitely check it out. It's on HBOMax. And Disney Plus for Loki and Bad Batch. And next week we're going to have the finale of Loki. And hopefully Alligator Loki will make another appearance. And Bad Batch. And then next week is like a ton of good stuff is coming out. So for now, Gunpowder Milkshake. We're gonna watch Gunpowder Milkshake on Netflix next week. So join us. David, do you have any final parting words for the people?
Oh, I do, Pam. And to quote this man here, who you can now see in Uber Eats commercials 24/7. Make it so. Engage.
Well, we'll just say on our end to please have a great week. But if you can't, don't go messing up nobody else's.
Amen to that.
From the great Tabitha Brown, we wish you joy, health, and safety. Take care. See you next time. Bye.
So long, everybody. Whoopi says bye.